Hello, welcome to another session on academic writing. Today we are going to see chapter 6, which is dealing with the mechanics of academic writing. We have already seen punctuation marks, the importance of punctuation marks. Today we are coming to the next part where we deal with two important aspects of academic writing. They are academic style and academic integrity. Let us see in detail what they are. So, the term academic style refers to the style adopted in writing academic essays, project papers, journal articles, and dissertations or thesis. In other words, a research paper or research project. So, academic writing is more formal and is different from informal writings like newspaper articles and magazine essays. So, any academic writing is a serious type of writing which is not exactly the same as the informal writing. So, when we are writing something formal, we need to follow certain rules and regulations. And that's what we are going to see in this unit. Academic writing needs to follow some stylistic rules and regulations apart from using formal language. We have already seen that we need to use only formal language, not informal language. Another important factor is documenting the sources. That means, in order to emphasize our point, we may quote other authors or we may depend on other sources. That is the meaning of documenting the sources. There are quotations and borrowed materials, and how we need to acknowledge these sources. That is a style. Stylistic consistency decides the quality of an academic work. That means, throughout our writing, we should be following a particular academic style. We cannot follow two different styles in the same writing. So, our documentation style will depend on our discipline. Which discipline are we dealing with? Whether we are dealing with scientific papers or literary papers, it depends on that. We find that writers from liberal arts and humanities usually prefer MLA style. We will see later what is MLA style and APA style. Now, you don't have to worry about that. And those from social sciences and science follow APA style. So, that is the usual trend. Now, MLA style and APA style are two documentation style guides commonly followed in academic writing. So, here style guides means this particular style will have a set of rules and regulations. In other words, certain guidelines to follow. Different disciplines use different documentation styles. That means, if you are following a particular stream like science or social sciences or simply theoretical writing, so we need to follow a particular style that is more suitable to that kind of writing. Now, parenthetical or in-text citation or quoting and works cited or bibliography or references are the two kinds of documentation employed in academic writing. Now, here we need to make a clear distinction between academic style and documentation type. Here, documenting means actually acknowledging sources. Sometimes we depend on other external sources, depending on other authors or writers. So when we are borrowing their materials, we need to acknowledge that. That is the meaning of in-text citation or bibliography. Now we will see the difference between these two types later. Now parenthetical documentation or in-text documentation. One example is given there. Suppose you are writing and quoting somebody. Now immediately after that quotation, you should give in bracket. That is the name of the author and also the page number where this quotation is from. So this in-text documentation will come immediately after your quotation. Whereas works cited or references and bibliography, they come at the end of your writing. That is maybe at the end of the chapter or unit or at the end of the whole book. So the example is given there. Veena, RSP, bracket 1970, drugs and school children, Longman, London. So this is how you give works cited or references. So you have the name of the author, then the year of publishing and the title of the book, and also publishers and the place. Now we come to the first academic style, which is known as MLA style. So as we know, MLA is a style guide for academic writing. So it also gives a set of guidelines for documenting and style of writing. MLA is developed by Modern Language Association. So that is the full form of MLA, Modern Language Association. This guide is widely used by writers and researchers in academic writing. So most people use or follow this MLA style guide. Now what are the different guidelines they give? It begins with text formatting, how your whole text needs to be formatted, like the lines, gap between the lines, or the fonts to be used. Then tables and illustrations, running head with page numbers, plagiarism and academic integrity. We will see about plagiarism later. Placement of the list of works cited, that is acknowledging the source or reference. Then paper and printing, about the quality of paper, how it has to be printed. Then the margins to be left, heading and title, electronic submission like online submission. Then corrections and insertions on printouts. So after printout, if there are corrections and insertions, how it has to be done. Then binding a printed paper, how it has to be bound. So that is in short about MLA style. Now we come to APA style. This style guide is developed by American Psychological Association. So the full form of APA is American Psychological Association. This style is mostly used in scientific writing. So those who are doing research on some science topics, they usually follow APA style. Academic writings which include empirical studies. Empirical studies means studies which depend on observation or experience on such things. That's why it is called empirical studies. Most of the scientific research, they are empirical studies. Then literature review, case studies, and theoretical and methodological articles. Now what is a methodological article? We have the explanation for that. Empirical studies means studies based on observation and experience rather than theory. And methodological articles are techniques and strategies employed within a discipline to manipulate data and acquire knowledge, or research methods used by an investigator or how he went about his research. So actually the person who investigates or researches, he is giving a narration about his own method of research. That's actually methodological articles. Now we come to APA style. Now let us see what are the guidelines given by APA. So the guidelines are mainly on title page, abstract. Abstract means summary of a research paper, introduction, the method used, results or conclusions, discussions, references. References of course meaning bibliography or in-text citations. Then appendices. Usually at the end of the book you find appendix, what is added extra. So this supplementary material is actually not very essential to the writing. They give some additional information on your writing. Like in MLS style, there are specific instructions in APA style with regard to text formatting. So text formatting means like line spacing and margins, page numbers and page headers. So they tell you how exactly you should follow these guidelines regarding text formatting. APL style insists on double spacing the entire manuscript and using Times New Roman font for text and Arial font for tables. So these are the different font styles they need to follow in APA style. Now we come to another very important factor, that is academic integrity. Now what is meant by integrity? Now integrity of course belongs to a person. It's about how you conduct yourself. In every profession you find there is a set of ethical codes you need to follow, whether you are a doctor or engineer, whatever. Certain values and principles you need to follow. For example, a doctor, what ethical code you should follow. It's very clear. A doctor has to do everything possible to save a life. So that is his profession, or that is his professional ethics, because he is there to save lives. So same way, when we are writing academically, we also need to follow certain values and principles. So there are values related to academic integrity actively promote ethics of writing. So what are the ethics or values we need to follow in academic writing? The notion of academic integrity examines different forms of academic dishonesty. That means nowadays you find that people easily download things from the Google without acknowledging the source. Even students do that. When certain assignments are given to them, immediately they go to the Google and download it. Work is done. So that is actually dishonest means of writing. In other words, it is called plagiarism. That means you are stealing somebody's work. So plagiarism poses a threat to maintaining academic integrity. So the greatest threat to academic writing today is plagiarism. Now an academic writer can keep academic integrity by citing his or her sources properly and also by avoiding plagiarism. So how can an academic writer keep integrity? That is being honest about your references. Or in case you are quoting from somebody, you need to acknowledge that. That is a fair way of doing it. Plagiarism is a literary theft. Of course, it is an open stealing. It occurs when a writer copies another person's text or ideas and calls the work his or her own without giving credit to the source of the copied text. So that is what is meant by plagiarism. When we steal somebody's writing without acknowledging it. Of course, you can quote some other authors, but you need to clearly cite that or acknowledge that quotation. Next, we come to the third part of this session, that is proofreading. We have already seen once about proofreading or editing, that it is very important. Before submitting your academic writing, we need to go through the whole thing, go through the draft, then read, find mistakes, edit, and do the final touches. In this process of editing and rewriting, certain words can be added or omitted if necessary. So that is what we do in editing. Find out certain mistakes if that has happened. Then you can omit certain words or add certain words if necessary. In proofreading, grammar, vocabulary, spelling, sentence structure, and format of the text are all thoroughly examined. So these are the few things we need to check thoroughly. That is like grammar mistakes, vocabulary, whether we have selected the proper vocabulary, or whether we can use better words, more suitable ones. Then spelling mistakes, then sentence structure, the way we have constructed our sentence, whether we have used different types of sentences, and then of course the whole format of the text. So these are the main things we need to check while proofreading. We will see them one by one. First, spelling. Of course, in our MS Word and all that, we have spell check. We can always go for getting help from that. But what we need to keep in mind is that we will not be able to check other grammatical mistake or mistakes regarding vocabulary. Such things, spell check will not help. Then sentences. Check your sentences for fragments, whether we have incomplete sentences or very short sentences, or sentence variety, whether we have used different types of sentences like simple, compound, complex, etc. Then subject verb agreement, another very important area where we make mistake. Then parallelism. Parallelism means where we use the same category of words, like in a sentence we use many words like adjectives, verbs or nouns. We cannot mix up two different parts of speech. That will be the mistake in parallelism. Then wordiness, whether we have used too many words, where we can cut down on words. Then run-on sentences. Run-on sentences means you have two independent sentences connected improperly. That means faulty connections. Another problem is with regard to choppy sentences, very short sentences. Then we have dangling modifiers. One example is given there. Having finished the assignment, the TV was turned on. So you have got two clauses which are not actually properly connected. That means having finished the assignment, having finished. It looks like as if the TV had done the assignment. So we need to specify who had finished the. So only when we add a subject there, the sentence will become complete. So when we say having finished the assignment, I turned the TV on, then the sentence will become okay. So that's about dangling modifiers. Then of course about punctuation marks, whether we have placed the punctuation marks properly or not. Next point is about style or documentation, whether we have followed a particular style throughout. There is a consistency of style. If you are following MLA style, we should follow only that. We cannot mix up MLA style and APA style. Then check if the documentation is done correctly. That is, whether you have given the in-text citations or bibliography at the end. All these things should be checked. Then plagiarism. That means whether if you have not acknowledged certain quotations or certain materials they have borrowed from others, then that will amount to the crime of plagiarism. And you have certain software or applications which can help you in plagiarism. You can make use of those tools online. Then coming to paragraph, we should check the body paragraph, topic sentence, substantiation and transition signals or discourse markers. So how you have constructed the paragraph, whether the topic sentence is given there in the introduction itself, then where you have substantiated your points, or whether you have used the markers, discourse markers or transition signals wherever necessary. Then another important factor is thesis statement. That means the topic on which you are doing the research or doing the writing. Check if you have carried forward your thesis statement from the introduction through the body paragraph to the conclusion. That means throughout your writing, this thesis statement should be emphasized. It has to be repeated every now and then, because that is the main idea you are developing. So all your other paragraphs and sentences should be closely related to your thesis statement. Success of an academic paper depends on effective presentation of the thesis using evidences and explanations. So when you are trying to prove something, then you need to have a lot of evidences and explanations. So the success of your academic paper depends on how effectively you present the topic with necessary evidences and explanations. Then introduction and conclusion to be checked, how you have introduced your topic and how you have concluded the whole thing. So these are the main points regarding proofreading. I think with that we have come to the end of this session. Thank you. Goodbye.